What's up, YouTube? DJ Kryptonite here, coming at you live again with some boxing news and gossip. The latest, well, actually, this is just a critique of that Shawn Porter fight that he had. And the only critique I had, the funny thing is that his opponent slips my mind right now because it really wasn't even a fight. It looked like he carried him for 12 rounds. And if he did, that might be because he was just trying to get some work in. Because again, people have been pretty much stagnant for the most part during this COVID situation. But maybe he was just trying to get some rounds in, trying to get some work in with the guy, with that young guy. However, it didn't look like it was a stellar performance for Shawn Porter. However, he did win the fight, so you got to give him credit for winning the fight. The problem I had with the fight was the fact that the WBC has created a new belt. This was to be the mandatory challenger for Errol Spence. This fight was an elimination bout for the winner to be the mandatory for 147 WBC titleist Errol Spence Jr. And in such, they gave Shawn Porter, they awarded Shawn Porter the WBC Silver belt. Now, I don't know how many belts and how many different versions of the WBC champion there's going to be. Super champ, WBC Silver champ, WBC People's champ, WBC Unified champ, Undisputed champ, franchise champ. I'm not quite sure what boxing is creating. I think part of it is because boxing is fractured by networks and promoters who don't want to work together. So to keep the belts and keep fighters relevant or keep them fighting for something when they can't make fights, they have to create these alternative belts. Because if it was just one belt or three sanctioning bodies in each division or each weight class, and they were fighting across networks and promotions, then it wouldn't be a problem because everybody would be fighting the best fighters. As it stands, you gotta make Jamel Charlo the WBC super champ. You gotta make Canelo this particular champ. You gotta make Errol Spence a WBC IBF real champ, and then you make Shawn Porter the silver champ. They're just doing this to create, for one, is just create more belts. So every fight will essentially be a participation prize. So if you win a fight, you get a participation medal or ribbon type thing. They may as well make this shit like Little League. Because every time someone fights, they're fighting for some particular belt that really didn't exist prior to that fight. So I don't know what boxing's trying to do. I guess they're trying to generate revenue, because if you can actually label a fight as a title fight or something that they're working towards, or there's something on the line, so to speak, you can actually generate a little bit more buzz, and I guess you can demand more money from promotions and that sort of thing. But it kind of clouds boxing. It waters down the belts, because if you have multiple belts sanctioned by the same body, the belts mean absolutely nothing at that point. You got four belts, four title belts sponsored by the WBC, and essentially you have maybe 10 relevant fighters. So 4 out of the 10 could potentially have a belt. The belts become irrelevant. Who's the best guy in the division? The best guy in the division, it should be one belt per sanctioning body. So who's the best guy in the division? They should hold the belt. And to beat the guy on top, you have to beat that guy to get that belt. That's just how things work. I think MMA, UFC has it right. It should just be one belt per division. I get it. Everybody wants a piece of the pie, a little bit of money generated by having these belts, because everybody kind of eats when you got multiple champions all over the place. But essentially, if it gets too widespread, the belts become meaningless. And that's where we're headed. Because I think I read somewhere that they're about to make a heavyweight weight class that is 200 pounds to 225. So essentially, you're going to have a heavyweight and a super heavyweight. I think that's how they do it in the Olympics, but that's being proposed, and it adds another tier to the championship series, because now you have individuals who weigh between 200 and 225, and then you're going to have 5 to 6 belts within that division. And then the super heavyweight division, you're going to have 226 and above, or 226 and above. You're going to have 6, 7, 8 bodies handing out belts. It's just getting so watered down. Boxing is getting frustrating. I know we're trying to generate as much revenue as we possibly can, but I just don't think that's the right way to do it. However, when you tune into a fight and you hear that, ooh, this is for this particular belt, I guess it makes it a more appealing or enticing to people, viewers. But I just think it takes away from everything, because essentially, like I said, the belts become meaningless. But that's all I have. As I said, Shawn Porter fought for the silver WBC belt. It's just another belt, but it means absolutely nothing in the big scheme of things. Is he still rated? He's still rated what? Top 5 welterweights. It did nothing for him, because he's still not the guy in the class. He just happens to have a belt. That means nothing. It means nothing. I guess it means something on paper, but it doesn't mean anything in the big scheme of things. So I guess when it comes to negotiating for the next fight, he can always put that on the table and say, hey, I'm the WBC Silver champ. Whatever that means. I have no idea. He's the number 1 ranked contender, probably in the WBC. That's true. But to have a WBC Silver championship belt means absolutely nothing in the big scheme of things. Anyway, that's all I have. Hopefully I'll get back at y'all soon. Have a great day. And DJ Kryptonite out. Deuces.